Hi there, it's Tuesday the 9th of June 2020, and this week we are looking at dealing with regret. Yesterday we made 3 simple observations about regret. First of all, it's very common. Everybody has made wrong choices or done things which you regret. Secondly, it's very difficult to deal with. It can sometimes affect us for the rest of our lives if we allow it. And thirdly, it's very often worse as we get older, perhaps because we've lived longer and so perhaps have more regrets. Then we asked, what 2 ways can there be to help us? Well, first of all, people can help us through psychiatrists, psychologists, online help, friends, family advice, whatever. And secondly, God can help us through His Word. And then we asked, what 3 ways does regret come into our lives? Well, first of all, it can come through our wise choices, good choices that we make, but perhaps don't turn out for the best and we later regret them. Secondly, it can come through our unwise or foolish choices, like putting petrol in your diesel engine, and you can regret that, obviously. And thirdly, through our sinful choices, just downright sin, losing our temper, not forgiving somebody, whatever, and we regret that. But let's ask a fresh question, a new question today, and that is, how does regret affect us? How does it affect us? And we're going to look at the story of Judas Iscariot in the Bible and see what we can learn from his story. So Matthew 26 and 27, here's the story. Then one of the 12 disciples, the one called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and asked, "What are you willing to give me if I hand Jesus over to you?" And so they counted out for him 30 silver coins. And from then on, Judas watched for an opportunity to hand Jesus over. And then later, while Jesus was in the garden speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived, and with him was a large crowd armed with swords and clubs and sent from the chief priests and the elders of the people. And the betrayer, Judas, had arranged a signal with them. "The one I kiss is the man. Arrest him." And going at once to Jesus, Judas said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. Jesus replied, "Friend, do what you came for." And then the men stepped forward, seized Jesus, and arrested him. And then in the next chapter, early in the morning, all the chief priests and the elders of the people came to the decision to put Jesus to death. They bound him, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate, the governor. When Judas, who had betrayed him, saw that Jesus was condemned, he was seized with remorse or regret and returned the 30 silver coins to the chief priests and the elders. "I have sinned," he said, "for I have betrayed innocent blood." "What is that to us?" they replied. "That's your responsibility." And so Judas threw the money into the temple and left. And then he went away and hanged himself. So first of all, let's look at how regret can affect us. And it can affect us, first of all, with inner turmoil. Inner turmoil. Judas was seized with remorse. His heart and his mind was captured. It was seized by regret. And we know that that can happen to us, that regret can seize our mind and our thinking and our thoughts. And it can seize our heart and our feelings and our emotions. It can seize our mind, our thoughts. We can be filled with thoughts like, why did I do that? Why couldn't I stop myself? I hate myself for having done that. I'm such an idiot. Things will never change now. There's no way back. And all these thoughts that go round and round our minds that come from regret. Secondly, it can seize our heart, our feelings, the way we feel. We can feel sick. We can feel ill because of regret. We can feel guilty, remorseful, angry, ashamed, despairing, shaky, confused, vulnerable. All kinds of thoughts and all kinds of feelings that can seize us, capture our hearts and our mind. And that is the inner turmoil that regret can cause. Secondly, regret can cause outward harmful behaviour, either to ourselves or to others. Judas went and hanged himself. That is the greatest act of self-harm that a person can do. And Judas was so filled with the regret that he hanged himself. And sadly, some people are so filled with regret that they commit suicide. Others harm themselves in different ways, self-harming. Or there are angry outbursts and bad temper towards people around us. Or we withdraw. or we are aggressive, or we are filled with depression. We blame others, we blame God. All kinds of outward manifestations in our behaviour can come from regret. So it can cause inner turmoil, outward harmful behaviour, or thirdly, it can cause repentance. And that is what we need to have. 2 Corinthians 7 verse 10 says, godly sorrow brings repentance that leads to salvation and leaves no regret, but worldly sorrow brings death. Judas showed regret, but he did not show repentance. And repentance is the key to unlock the prison of regret that you might find yourself in, and it is the only way to escape. And I'll tell you how tomorrow.